Hello viewers, welcome to the UN College Digital Classes. I am Mamita Patra, Head of the Department, Master of Commerce, Finance and Control. We are discussing the topic that is commercial banks, and we are in the mid of discussion of the classification. We have discussed that the commercial bank has been classified into the scheduled commercial bank and non-scheduled commercial banks. And in the scheduled commercial bank, we have public sector banks, private sector bank, foreign banks and RRBs, and we have discussed about the public sector banks and the private banks. So today we are going to discuss further, and we will start with the foreign banks. So a bank operating as a private entity in India but headquartered in foreign country is a foreign bank. They are governed by both the country they are located in as well as the country they have headquartered in. And as the December 2014, there are 43 foreign banks from 26 countries operating as branches in India and 46 banks from 22 countries operating as representative offices in India. And RBI policy towards presence of foreign banks in India is based upon two cardinal principles, that is reciprocity and a single mode of presence. So this is what the foreign banks is. So as we have discussed that the public sector banks are the one whose major stakeholder is the government, and the private sector is the one whose the major stakeholder is the private party. In the foreign banks, when we are talking of, they are the bank which are operating in India, but their headquarters are centered in some foreign country. So they are the foreign banks, and they also need to be operate in India, or we can say in the country, with the guideline of that country, and when it is operating in India, it is operating with the guidelines of the Reserve Bank of India. While we are talking of the operation of foreign bank in India, the RBI policy towards its presence is of having two principles, that are the reciprocity and the single mode of presence. Next we have regional rural banks. So these banks were established mainly to support the weaker and lesser fortunate section of the society, like the marginal farmers, laborers, small enterprises, etc. And they mainly operate at regional levels at different states and may have branches in urban areas as well. So regional rural banks, by that what we mean, that these are the rural banks, then as the name suggests, and these are present in the places those who are less fortunate, or we can say that those who are the weaker section of the economy, and they need more assistance, they need more financial assistance. So for their upliftment or for the promotion of those weaker sections, their specific banks have been designed. They are the regional rural banks, and their main features are for supporting rural and semi-urban region financially, pension distribution and wage disbursement of MGNREGA workers, added banking facilities like locker, cards debit and credit, and each RRB is owned by 3 entities with their respective shares as follows, that are the central government 50% share, state government 15% share, and sponsor bank is having 35% share. So this is how the regional rural bank is being owned, that there is 50% share of the central government, 35% share of the state government, and 15% by the sponsored bank. So this is how the ownership of the regional rural bank is been designed, and the main emphasis or the main focus of these regional rural bank is for the development of the lesser developed or the weaker section of the economy, or basically for the agriculture, for the labor, for the small enterprises, and for the upliftment of the small enterprises and farmers, agricultures or craftsmen, like that facilities are being provided by the regional rural banks. and they are regulated by NABARD. Next, we have non-scheduled banks, and the banks which are not included in second schedule of Reserve Bank of India are known as non-scheduled banks. And a non-scheduled bank has a paid-up capital and reserve of less than rupees 5 lakhs. So, as we have discussed already that the scheduled banks are the banks which are having a paid-up capital of rupees 5 lakhs or more. So, these non-scheduled banks are not or are the one who have a paid-up capital of less than 5 lakhs. So, that is why we can also say that these non-scheduled banks are comparatively small banks than the scheduled banks, and these non-scheduled banks are deprived of many facilities that the Reserve Bank of India is giving to the scheduled banks. So, clearly such banks are smaller banks and their field of operation is also limited. Unlike scheduled banks, they are not entitled to borrow from the Reserve Bank of India for normal banking purposes, except in emergency or some abnormal circumstances. So, as we have discussed that as the scheduled banks or the scheduled commercial bank have the right or they have the privilege to be assessed by the Reserve Bank of India when they need for, or the Reserve Bank of India is also giving them credit facility, but these non-scheduled banks are deprived of that unless and until it is a very emergency or some abnormal situation. Reserve Bank of India is not going to give them credit or not going to assist them. So, now we will have a quick look on the difference between the scheduled banks and the non-scheduled banks. So, the scheduled banks follow the rules made by the Reserve Bank of India, while non-scheduled banks do not follow the rules made by the Reserve Bank of India. And scheduled banks are eligible for inclusion in the second schedule to the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934, while non-scheduled banks are not included in the second schedule. Scheduled banks are allowed to borrow money from Reserve Bank of India for regular banking purposes, while non-scheduled banks are not allowed. The scheduled banks can become a member of clearing house, while non-scheduled banks cannot be a member of the clearing house. Scheduled banks are non-scheduled banks both need to maintain the cash reserve ratio, but scheduled banks have to deposit their amount in the Reserve Bank of India, while non-scheduled banks can deposit this amount with themselves. So, this is how we can say that the difference between a scheduled bank and a non-scheduled bank is that the major thing is that the scheduled commercial bank need to deposit the cash reserve ratio that we have already discussed while we are discussing the Reserve Bank of India, that a certain percentage or push or a ratio of amount is needed to be deposited with the Reserve Bank of India by the commercial banks, but the non-scheduled commercial bank may not deposit the CRR with the Reserve Bank of India. They can keep the CRR with themselves. That is the difference between the scheduled and the non-scheduled commercial bank is. So, apart from that, there are other types of commercial bank we can talk of, like industrial banks provide finance to industrial concerns by subscribing or buying shares and debentures of companies, and also give long-term loans to acquire machinery, plants, etc. Foreign exchange banks are commercial banks which are branches of foreign banks and facilitate international finance transactions through buying and selling of foreign bills. Agricultural banks finance agriculture and provide long-term loans for buying tractors and installing tube wells, etc. And saving banks mobilizes small savings of the people in savings amount. Example is post office saving bank. And cooperative banks are organized by the people for their own collective benefits, and they advance loans to their members at fair rate of interest. These are what the various other types of commercial banks could be, like industrial banks, foreign exchange banks, agricultural banks, saving banks, and cooperative banks. That could be other types of the commercial banks. Now, we will be discussing that what is the significance of these commercial banks, or how these commercial banks we are considered to be very significant in the financial system and for the economy of the country. So, let us discuss the significance of the commercial banks. The commercial banks play much an important role in the economic development of a country, that a modern industrial economy cannot exist without them. So, a country's economic existence is impossible without a commercial bank. So, commercial banks are very vital and important for the economic development of a country, and they constitute nerve center of production, trade and industry of a country. So, we can say that the commercial banks are the nerve system of the economy of a country. As the nerves are essential and vital for the functioning of a body, the commercial banks are that vital and important for the functioning of the economy of a country, and they have a very significant role in the economic development of the country, and they are the one which is going to regulate the production, trade and industries of the country, which are the most important factors of the economic development of the country. So, we can bulletin the significance of the commercial bank, that they promote savings and accelerate the rate of capital formation. They are source of finance and credit for trade and industry. They promote balanced regional development by opening branches in backward areas. Bank credit enables entrepreneurs to innovate and invest, which accelerates the process of economic development. They help in promoting large scale production and growth of priority sectors such as agriculture, small scale industry, retail, trade and export. They create credit in the sense that they are able to give more loans and advances than the cash position of the depositors permits. They help commerce and industry to expand their field of operation. Thus, they make optimum utilization of resources possible. So, this is what the significance of a commercial bank is. They are the backbone of the economy, they are the promoter of the various sectors, they are the source of finance, they are the facilitator of the various sectors, they are the one who is promoting the economy and it is accelerating the foreign trade. They help in the promotion of large scale, they are enabling or extending the banking facilities to every corner of the country. So, we have discussed on the commercial bank that we know that they are the financial intermediaries, or they are the institutions, those who are intermediate between the savers, those who have surplus money or excess money, and the borrowers, those who are in the need of money for some investment avenues. And the commercial banks are the backbone of the financial system. They are the institutions, those who are the major participant of the financial system, and each and every citizen, or we can say that each and every operation and financial dealings of the country is been done by the commercial banks, and they are the major ones who are being used in the financial system. And these commercial banks has been classified into in two broad categories. We have seen that they are either scheduled commercial banks, those who are under the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934, the second schedule, and under the section 49, and there are non-scheduled banks also. The non-scheduled banks are not under the second schedule of the Reserve Bank of India. And again, these scheduled commercial banks are being categorized into four broad categories. They are the public sector banks, the private sector banks, the foreign banks, and the regional rural banks. So, these are the four different classification of the banks under the scheduled commercial banks. And these four different classification or the sections of the scheduled commercial banks. In the public sector banks, we have the nationalized bank, the SBI and its associates, and other public sector banks. And the private banks are the banks those are owned, or the major stakeholders are the private ones, or it is in the hands of private parties. And the foreign banks are the one whose headquarter is in some foreign country and is operating in India. So they are being operated by the dual guidelines, that are the guideline of the country of which it is headquartered and the guideline of the RBI. And also we have seen that in scheduled commercial banks we have regional rural banks. They are specifically designed for the upliftment or the promotion of the weaker or the less facilitate sections or the sectors of the country, and they are promoting or taking care of the development of those weaker sections. For say, we can say that the agricultural sector, the small scale industries, the crafts, art and crafts, and the artisans, and they are been taking care of those leisure or weaker sections of the economy. And in non-scheduled banks, they are the banks which are, we know that they are not under the second schedule of the Reserve Bank of India, and they are been quite different from the scheduled banks. That also we have discussed, that what is the difference between these scheduled commercial banks and non-scheduled commercial banks. And majorly what we come to know that the scheduled commercial banks are under the guidelines of Reserve Bank of India. Non-scheduled banks are also under the guidelines of Reserve Bank of India, but the scheduled commercial banks have been privileged or have been taken care of Reserve Bank of India, and various facilities are also been given or promoted to extended to the scheduled commercial banks. And the scheduled commercial banks have a higher paid up capital of rupees 5 lakhs, and non-scheduled commercial banks have a paid up capital of less than 5 lakhs also. And also we have discussed some other specific commercial banks, that are the foreign exchange bank, industrial banks, cooperative banks, savings banks, like that we have discussed on the various specific commercial banks also. And we have discussed the significance of these commercial banks, and we come to know that these commercial banks are very significant in the economy of a country, or we are saying these commercial banks are the backbone of a country on which the country's economy can stand straight. Or we don't have a healthy commercial banking system, or we don't have the healthy commercial bank, then the economy of the country will struggle or crawl, we can say. So that is why it is very significant and important to know about these commercial banks, and they have that significant role in the economy of the country. So, like that we have discussed various things on the commercial banks, since its types, its meaning, its difference, and various aspects and significance of the commercial banks. In our upcoming class, we will be reading other various important aspects and facts about these commercial banks. Keep watching. Thank you.